Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, we will see how we can set up the Visual Studio Code for Python programming language so that we can run Python programs in VS Code. In order to continue with this video, first you need to download and install latest version of Python and you need to set the path environment variable. I have explained how you can do that in a separate video. I will provide the link in the description box. After that, you need to download and install latest version of Visual Studio Code. Again, I have made a tutorial, link will be available in the description box. Now after installing these two programs, you can continue and set up the Visual Studio Code for Python. So first what we do is we will open up the Visual Studio Code, and once we do that, we will go to the file and we will click on Save Workspace As. Now here you can save the workspace wherever you want. I will save it in the desktop. Here I'm going to create a folder in my desktop. So right click, new, and I will say folder, and I will say Python. That is the folder name. And after that, I will open up the folder, and here I'm going to give a name for the workspace. I will say Python workspace. You guys can give any name for the folder and this workspace. After that, click on save. After that, again, we will click on the file and we will click on add folder to workspace. And this time we will go to the desktop or the location where we have saved our workspace. Mine is in the desktop. So I'm going to go to the desktop, and here you guys can see Python. That is the folder that I have created. I'm going to open it up, and here I'm going to create another folder. So I will right click and I'm going to go to new and folder, and I'm going to say programs. You guys can give any name. And after that, we will select this folder and we will click on add here. Once we do that, it will ask whether do you trust the authors of the files in this folder. We will say yes. And once we do that, in this Explorer panel, in the right hand side, we can see Python workspace. That is the workspace that we have created. And also we can see the programs folder that we have added. Now we will click on this programs and we will select that. And after that, we will click on this icon which says new file, and we can create a file. So I'm gonna say hello.py. .py is important. That is the file extension for files which contain Python code. You guys can give any name for the file. For example, here I have given hello. After that, we will click on outside. It will create the file python.py and it will be opened here in this editor panel. Now here, if the get started module is visible, then you can close that. So here I'm going to keep hello.py open. Now we will click on the extensions that we can find in the left hand side, and we will install some extensions. First, we will search for Python and we will find Python Visual Studio Code extension developed by Microsoft. We will click on that. It will be opened and we can see more information about that. We will click on this install and we will wait for the installation to finish. Okay, now this extension has been installed. Now we will close this. Now the next thing that we do is we will install a tool called as Pylint. Pylint is a static Python code analyzer which checks for your Python code and make sure that it follows the Python standard. And also if some code modification options are available, then it will display that. So we need to install the tool Pylint. It is available as a Python module and we need to install it. So to do that, we will click on the terminal and we will click on new terminal. And again, if it asks for do you trust the authors of the files in this workspace, click on trust workspace and continue. And here we can install the Pylint module. So we will type in pip install Pylint, and after that hit the enter button. It will download and install the latest version of Pylint. You guys can also see the version installed, that is 2.15.9. Okay, now after installing this Pylint, what we have to do is we have to do some settings manually in this Visual Studio Code so that everything works properly. Another option that is available to us is we can install a Visual Studio Code extension called as PyLint. So this Python module that we have installed is also called as PyLint, and the Visual Studio Code extension that we are going to install right now is also called as PyLint. So here we will go to the extensions, and here we will search for PyLint. When we search for that, we will get this option called as PyLint, and it is developed by Microsoft. It is a Visual Studio Code extension. Again, what it does is, if PyLint Python module is not installed in the system, then it will install it, and after that it will update the Visual Studio Code with the proper settings. Now, if the PyLint Python module is installed in the computer, in the system, then it will not install the PyLint module, but it will do all the other settings. Here, the reason why I installed PyLint Python module manually is, sometimes if we just install the PyLint Visual Studio Code extension, then we get slightly older version of the PyLint Python module. For example, in this case, if I directly install PyLint Visual Studio Code extension, then what it does is it will install PyLint Python module version 2.15.5. But when I installed it manually, I got the version 2.15.9. So just to get that latest version, I did this step. So now what we do is we will install this PyLint extension, and once it is installed, we can close this, and here right now we can click on this Explorer icon, and we can come back to the workspace. Now what we can do is we can write a simple Python program. Now first, here what we do is we will simply write the documentation part for the Python file. We can do that by typing codes 3 times, and here I'm going to say simple Python program, and after that what we do here is we will ask the user to enter his name, and then we will display hello and the name of the user. So we will use the input function in here, and we will say enter your name, and after that this input function will return the value entered by the user as a string value, and we will store that in a variable, and let's call that as name. So after that we will print that name with the message hello. So we will display hello first, and after that we will display the name. Okay, so this is the simple Python program that we have written. Now how we can run this program? If I right click on this editor panel, then we can see an option called as run Python file in terminal. If I click on that, this file will be run in the terminal. For example, here it says enter your name. I will enter my name Anil, and after that if I hit the enter button, it says hello Anil. So that is one way of running the Python file. Second way is, if you go to the top right side, you will see a button like this, and when I take the cursor on that, it says run Python file. If you click on that, again the Python file will be run in the terminal. So here I can enter my name. I'm going to enter Anil Shetty, and if I hit the enter button, it says hello Anil Shetty. Now after this, one more thing that we can do is we can click on the file, and we can choose this option. We can check this option which says auto save, which will save your program whenever you make modifications. So here I'm going to click on that, and again if you click on file and we go back here, then we can see that this particular option is checked, so that when we make modifications to this program, it will be saved automatically. Now after that we can install a code formatter. For Python I generally use Black, so we will install that. Click on the terminal, click on new terminal, and here we will type in pip install Black, and after that hit the enter button. It will download and install the Black code formatter for Python. Now once this is installed, we will click on File, we will go to Preferences, and we will click on Settings. And here first we will search for Format on Save. Now you will find this particular option, Editor, Format on Save. Check this option. And after that, we will search for Python Formatting Provider. And here you will see Python Formatting Provider. Click on this drop down option and select black. After that, close this settings. Now what we have done is we have set up Visual Studio Code with minimal essentials for writing and executing Python programs. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. If you have anything to say, then write that in the comment box. For more tutorials like this, do subscribe to the channel.